Hey, my name is annmugeche, and this is the channel of hope, bringing hope in life with me, annmugeche. Meet the Mwailas, two girls who are teenagers and twins, Francisca and Florence in fourth form currently. Now, Florence and Francisca are members of the Identical Families Association. They are here to talk about teenage pregnancies, early pregnancies, and to give advice to their fellow teenagers. Listen out and hear what these lovely girls are talking about.
Someone once said, you need to understand life enough and at the same time be ready to endure the consequences of your action because every action in life comes with a reward, either good or bad. Indefinite closure of schools in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic has posed great challenges to this country and to everyone. One of them being a rise in the cases of early teenage pregnancies. Early teenage pregnancy refers to female adolescents becoming pregnant between ages 13 and 19. These pregnant girls often drop out of school because when you become pregnant and you are a school girl, there's nothing much you can do. You cannot attend school. And this limits opportunities for future employment and perpetuates poverty in our communities. Because you find when young girls become pregnant, therefore they have to take care of their children, their education is cut off, so it becomes difficult for them to find employment because in this ever-changing world, employment needs people who have had education. So these girls end up in life of poverty, and that is why in developing countries like ours, poverty is on the rise. There are various causes of teenage pregnancies. For example, lack of information about sexual and reproductive health. We are young. This is an experimenting age. So we need to have more information about reproductive health, to have more information about sexual health, and also to know our rights on matters reproduction. Inadequate access to services tailored for the young people, for family, community, and social pressure to marry. A teenager is forced to marry at a very tender age, which of course will later lead to an early pregnancy, causing school dropout. And there's also sexual violence. Sexual violence has been rampant these days from the family members, from the people in the community. Teenagers, especially girls, need to be protected from sexual violence, just to name but a few. Yes, unmarried pregnant adolescents may face stigma or rejection by parents and peers, as well as threats of violence within their marriage or partnership. So stigma is on the rise because you find when a girl, a 13-year-old, a 14, a 15-year-old gets pregnant, then you find other parents warning their children from staying close to that girl because they think it's bad influence. So that is stigma and it affects the mental health of this pregnant teenager, leading to depression or even stress, something which is not good for our health as teenagers. So early teenage pregnancies lead to stigmatization and rejection by parents. We've seen in many cases where parents deny their children because of having engaging in an unprotected sex and get pregnant. So the parents chase them from their home saying, you are a disgrace to my family, we don't want you anymore. Some may even have abortion because they don't want to keep the child, and if they keep the child, then they don't have money to raise the child. To avoid such stigma, they'll have to take abortion, which poses a risk to the mother. Sometimes they die, sometimes they get infertile and they won't be able to give birth again. teen mothers face significant level of stress that can lead to depression. Nowadays, we are hearing of depression, and there's postpartum depression. Like, so when a teenage mother gives at a tender age, there is a higher chance of getting postpartum depression, which will make the mother not love the child, and the child won't live a happy life. In addition to higher rates of suicidal ideation. So when you get pregnant at an early age, your parents disgrace you. Maybe the owner of the pregnancy disowns it. You can have the thoughts of committing suicide because you don't know what's next for your life. You know that because you are a baby with a baby, your life won't be the same again, and you don't know your fate. Just because the past did not turn out like you wanted it to, it doesn't mean your future can't be better than you ever imagined. We are girls, we are teenagers, and we have a very bright future. We are the presidents of our country tomorrow. We are the leaders, the governors, the MCAs. We are the doctors, the engineers. We don't have to lose to teenage pregnancy. There are a lot of things that we can do to avoid them. And of course, as they say, you can't expect to stay on the right path if you are working with the wrong people. I repeat, you cannot expect to stay on the right path if you are working with the wrong people. Company matters. It's better to work alone than work in the wrong company, because it is in these companies that we engage in house parties, whatever parties you find, taking weed, drinking beer, and in the end get out of there pregnant. Where do we start from there? When we get pregnant, then education is cut off. Our lives change completely, and they take the wrong path. A life full of poverty, a very hard life. So we need to take care of ourselves. We shall not lose to teenage pregnancy. I will not lose to teenage pregnancy. You will not lose to teenage pregnancy. We will all not lose to teenage pregnancy. This is something that we should all avoid. The future of this country, destined for greatness. Let us not ruin our lives by getting pregnant at a very tender age. We have a life to live. We are Africa's future. We are the hope of this country, the hope of Africa. We need to build our nation. We need to build our continent. To the perpetrators, government should impose more strict measures to deal with these people who are impregnating the teenagers. They ensure they serve a very long time in jail so that they can be an example and end the act of impregnating the teenagers. Kenya and Africa as a whole awaits these young minds to better our tomorrow. The power lies within us. The power lies within me. The power lies within you. Everyone in this country, let us protect the girl child from teenage pregnancy. Let us not lose to teenage pregnancy. Thank you. The future of tomorrow. We are all having the envision in our mind, Vision 2030. But with these rising cases of teenage pregnancy, then Vision 2030 itabaki kuwa story, as it is said in that song which we commonly know. So let us not lose. And finally, I will not lose to teenage pregnancy. You will not lose to teenage pregnancy. We will not lose to teenage pregnancy. Thank you.